Did you record?
No, not yet.
Yeah, whatever. Blame Facebook.
Who's this young man wearing a hat on our? He's like get this Gen Xer out of here. he's not even a millennial.
No.
Hey, who's this baby boomer in the short collar sweater? Let's talk about that.
That's true. That's true. You're right. I am wearing a young man's hoodie.
Oh, is that what it is? A young man's hoodie? I thought it was what are those things, like a robe?
This is like those Assassin's Creed style hoodies that were popular a couple of years ago. My wife got it for me.
I don't think they ever were popular, but yeah.
I'm sorry.
Popular online, and
that's all right. You're still doing more than Zahid. He looks like he's about to study for his GED.
Fuck you.
Oh, damn.
Damn. I wore the glasses one time. One time. I was like, I'm gonna look smart today, wearing my glasses. Nick looks like, nope.
Damn.
Fuck you.
So we were just talking. So we are live, by the way. Whoops, surprise, Nicholas. We literally did like no live prep work for. Yeah.
Nope, I didn't put up an event or anything. So
damn. Yeah. So nobody knows.
Nope,
just
nobody knows.
Tonight.
Yep. I mean, this will be on YouTube, right? So go ahead and kick it off.
Yeah. Actually, I wouldn't mind kicking it off if you don't mind. So yeah, welcome to the Targeted Podcast. I am Sahid. This is Omar. That's Nicholas with the hat for some reason. Hampton grad, always representing. All right, so we get to talk about the most important, according to my conservative friends, by the way, the most important topic of all time. No, it's not the pandemic and 500,000 people dying. No, it's not.
That's all fake. No one died.
I mean, no, it's not the increased violence of, on Asian Americans, right? And that 10 people were killed a couple of days ago, and Trump was freaking said some anti-Asian things prior to that massacre. No to the fact that they didn't label it a hate crime. Like, it was technically not labeled a hate crime because the guy had some fetish or some weird things. According to my more conservative colleagues, the biggest problem that we're facing with today is cancel culture. And, if you haven't gotten my sarcasm about this yet, I think cancel culture as an issue is as serious a problem as someone who likes their steak well done, or someone who puts pineapples on their pizza, whatever. But
I don't know. Hawaiian pizza is a thing now. Let's not take that too far. I personally don't like it, but
I think we need to cancel Nicholas out.
Canceled. Yeah. Yes. No. But according to my conservative colleagues, Pepe Le Pew got canceled, and it was the worst thing ever, apparently. Also.
Okay, so tell us about that though, because I know that's gonna be a big part of this conversation.
Yeah, I'll tell you about Pepe Le Pew. I'll tell you about Dr. Seuss books that was canceled, and then we can talk about other celebrities that's been canceled. I'll tell you a joke. Apparently, so one of my more conservative colleagues on my Facebook wall or my feed, right? He was just raging about people canceling Pepe Le Pew and whatnot, and he was like, "Yeah, my two favorite characters, cartoon characters, were Pepe Le Pew and Speedy Gonzalez, and they canceled them, and I'm super upset." I'm like, "What?" What?
Okay.
What? How is Pepe Le Pew your favorite? But let's talk Pepe Le Pew first. This is a huge thing, and I'll kick it off to you guys. So LeBron James is coming out with a new movie in what is it, the Looney Tunes versus the Monsters, his version Michael Jordan had in the 90s.
You're talking about Space
Jam.
Space Jam. Yes.
Wow. Damn, see, what generation are you a part of, man? Your
mama knows.
Right?
All right, now coming out with a basketball movie with the Looney Tunes and
hey, I sounded like Omar right there.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. I think LeBron is actually playing himself.
James. Yeah. So no. So LeBron James is doing Space Jams through like the remake of Space Jams, because of course we're doing a bunch of remakes because that's what we do in our society because we are not original. But
we ran out of ideas.
We ran out of ideas. So he's doing Space Jam. And as you remember, one of the original characters of Space Jam was Pepe Le Pew. Now, Pepe Le Pew, if you remember him as a character, part of his joke, his shtick, was him trying to put himself, like trying to hug and trying to appeal to a cat, right? That's not a skunk. He's a skunk. He's trying to appeal to a cat, and she keeps rejecting him and pushing him away, and he keeps like just trying to kiss her arm or whatever. And the joke is that like he gets rejected and she keeps pushing him away. It's been said that that's kind of representing like rape culture and whatnot. And yes, sure, it definitely is. I definitely don't mind canceling Pepe Le Pew at all. I will say that there are a lot of things that were jokes that's happened 50 years ago that's not okay today. And in today's world where you see Donald Trump like being like a sexual abuser, or Governor of California Andrew Cuomo like being accused of sexual assault, or actually Houston Texans QB, which I heard today, was being accused of sexual harassment, right? You're seeing so many cases of this happening again. It is okay to be more thoughtful about some of the characters that you're putting out today. But of course, people were super upset when they found out that their beloved character Pepe Le Pew was canceled. So, and we can go on for other characters that's been canceled, where Dr. Seuss, that corporation like stopped releasing some books because of how it can be interpreted or kind of the meaning of the time when it was written. But let me kick it off to you guys. Like, what are your just thoughts on Pepe Le Pew not being in Space Jam? Because yeah,
I guess I'll give my quick opinion first, because I wasn't really clear on what really the issue was. So glad you kind of recapped a little bit that I did already know.
Yeah. Let me add one more thing too. I'm not sure if that was the exact reasoning why, but like Space Jam is coming out and he was just cut from that movie, right? So I'm not exactly sure where it came from per se. Like, I'm not sure if it was like a decision by the Space Jam people or whatnot, but it was news like recently, and just people just got upset because of course they were. So yeah, but go ahead, Omar. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I also heard that it was like their own decision, right? To do it.
Yes.
And so it's not like, anyone out there's like this big propaganda out there, like a movement saying cancel them. They decided on their own. So that's their own personal decision. It's not really cancel culture, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, like my wife and I were talking about it very briefly like a week or so ago, and she asked me my thoughts on it. I was like, I don't really know. I haven't really even thought about it much, because I think this whole phrasing of cancel culture is actually just really stupid. I don't know when this really started. It's new to me. It seems like it's just like this new dubbing, this new phrasing, like every few years, every generation or something. It's the same crap again and again. Now, my wife even said for her, like, she grew up, being a woman, she grew up watching that as well, just like I did. And it never affected the way that she thought, or her brothers, or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And we come from a different generation, right? Where we could watch stuff and we could play violent video games, and we won't go out and be inspired to go out and enact those on other people, shoot up people or rape, whatever, do things like that. We had enough common sense. And, now we cater to a society that's really pampered, and they really just need to have their hands held. I'm sorry to say it, I'm not talking about everyone, but that's just how society is now. And one final point on that is that, I think, I don't remember if we talked about this live or if this was just us three talking about privately in the past, but what is considered normal in a society changes. What is considered acceptable and unacceptable changes. What's considered right and wrong changes over time from generation to generation. And we spoke about this. I think it was about George Washington having slaves,
Yes.
right? And how he had decided to eventually, like, what was it, like, let them go, or like he gave
I'm
them
not
some
sure
rights or
George.
something like that, or who was
He
it we were
let a
talking
few go. It wasn't even like he freed everybody.
Okay. But in his mind at that time, because of the norms of, you know, culture, he was actually going like he was taking, I don't know how to describe it. We talked about, like, he was you know, people talk about that like it's, you know, oh my God, you know, he owns slaves, which of course, like we all know, you know, it's obviously it's a terrible thing, but in that mind, in that society, it's normal for you. You're raised to think that it's acceptable, and it's not acceptable. But the fact that and I'm forgetting the help me out, Nicholas, because I don't want to sound like an idiot on the internet that I'm like
Right.
promoting slavery, because I'm really not. But what did we say about that? It was George Washington, right?
I don't know.
Because you were help. I remember you were you had an opinion on that was really enlightening as well. But anyway,
I think that was something else. I think we were talking about reparations at that point, something like that. But
okay, all right. So ignore that. No, I'm obviously I'm completely against slavery. But again, my point is just, you know, what is considered morally right and morally wrong changes from generation to generation.
Yeah. And Omar, you touched on a topic that like I'll get to later. But yeah, definitely Nicholas, like thoughts, man. Go for it.
So I agree, right? Like as a culture, you know, we're continuing to evolve, and what was okay, you know, 10 years ago, you know, is considered wrong today. But as far as Pepe Le Pew is concerned, in my opinion, I don't think they should have left him out of the movie personally. Like it's not a big deal to me because I don't really care about Pepe Le Pew, but I think if you have a character like that, instead of just simply saying, hey, we're not going to put him in there because he's too rapey or too aggressive or however you want to put it, or he you know, somehow it has become a personification of sexual assault. They could have rewritten the character to focus on him going to therapy, perhaps in this movie he's married, and because he went to therapy, mental health is a big thing these days, and people you know, getting, you know, more respect for going to therapy and getting a better understanding of their mental health. So perhaps he goes to therapy, changes his ways, gets married, and he's a new skunk now, right? Like, so I mean, to me, I think that it's a missed opportunity for them to rewrite, you know, a crappy character. But at the end of the day, I agree with a lot of what Omar said. I mean, we watch those shows coming up, and did it make me super aggressive toward women? No, not at all. Like, you know, so I think part of it goes to the parents as well. So.
Yeah. I mean,
so before you chime in, I want to say one really quick thing.
Go for it.
And that's him. How did I phrase it? I had the thought in my head and then I just forgot it. Great. I lost it. You know, when you say something, you say you forgot it, and then you get further and further away from it. That's what exactly just happened.
It's all right, man. It's all right.
Okay. It's all good. Right. We're all getting older. It's okay. As our old boss or like client would say, like you should like play like little like puzzle games to keep your mind sharp or whatever, because that's a thing apparently.
Dude, I'm on level 614 on the crossword puzzle game on my phone. All right, so don't even tell me that. I literally play every single day.
Hey, video games help with that too, man.
Yeah. So Nicholas, to your point, I think you made a great point about like them possibly they missed an opportunity to rewrite the character. Again, I don't care. I don't feel strongly about this. Like, oh, it's not the end of the world. Like I also don't think you got it now.
I remember. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Go for it.
All right. Even though I don't see anything wrong with it, right? With Pepe Le Pew, you know, doing whatever he did, that it was in innocent in a way. It was just like, loony fun, whatever. And I know that, Nicholas would agree with this as well. And I'm sure you would too, Sahid. But if there was proof that that show actually contributed to like children thinking that rape was okay, I would be one of the first people to be out there and be vocally against it. And I think it's very important that we say that here on this show, especially because we don't necessarily agree with it, right?
Mhm.
And, I mean, this show is really a lot about cancel culture and racism and stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of what we've spoken against in the past is people not understanding our walks of life, what it is to walk through our shoes. So
Mhm.
if other people have been, affected and they have some proof or even anything like that can show that, then I would accept it. But I'm not going to say it's not real because I don't think so or because I don't believe it.
Yeah, great point. I will let me add a couple things. So Nicholas, you made also a good point too, but they had missed an opportunity of like rewriting the character.
Mhm.
I'm a huge James Bond fan, right? And like love James Bond. If you guys remember like the Suits Act to work, like part of that's because of James Bond. Omar, don't laugh too much. So
Hey, I'm a big James Bond fan.
I'm a
too.
big James Bond fan. But if you remember the earlier James Bond movies, right? They were super sexist. Super sexist. And James Bond still keeps that suave now in some of his later movies, but that's been like dialed back by a lot. Even in his last couple of movies, is focused on him actually trying to settle down and get a relationship. So
Well, I think so. So with James Bond, right? I think that I like the character himself. Like he's an agent. Yes, he's a womanizer. Like I get that.
Mm.
Obviously, that's not like the best quality in the world, right?
Mm.
But you have to look at like the old James Bond movies. The way they treated women, they were just
Wow.
just a Bond girl, somebody to be saved, and they tried to change that over the years. Obviously, it took them forever. They're way behind the curve on that.
Yeah.
But to me, that doesn't mean that you have to make James Bond necessarily change so much. It's more about how they write and grow the female characters that he's around.
Yeah.
So
Which
I
they've
feel like
done.
if you have better, stronger female characters, like the new Moneypenny, I think was a better job, then that forces him as a character to have to grow and change. Like, I don't think that they should just write James Bond to being, just a soft, punk or whatever. That shouldn't be him either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because, hey, it's the 21st century and James Bond shouldn't go, try to go out and with women or do whatever he has to do to save the world. Like that's still him.
Yeah. No, but to your point, Nicholas, so they've actually done that, right? I still think James Bond, the current James Bond has his suave, right? They do make fun of him of being like an old timer, but they have surrounded him with a lot stronger women, right?
Yeah,
The next movie, right? There's still gonna be James Bond, but 007 is actually gonna be a black woman, right? So
No way, they confirmed that?
Yes. So in the next movie,
holy crap.
it's gonna be
Wow.
007 will be a black woman.
Because it's like he's retired, kind of, and so
Exactly,
somebody could
back.
replace.
Yeah, makes sense.
So that's how
Nice.
that is. But Omar, to your point, so you talked about, look, again, I don't think cancel culture is a problem, right? Like
I disagree with that. I do think cancel culture
I would
is a problem.
say this: cancel culture is as big of a problem as me not being able to get a PS5 right now. Like that's kind of how that's the level. Is it a problem? Sure. Like, do people take it too far? Yes. Right. But
Well, that's my point.
Yeah.
Like when someone is now, it seems like it's gotten to the point where like anybody says anything, get them out.
Thank you.
But
You know what I mean? So
and
there's
I'm gonna push back.
there's some new has to be some nuance to it.
I'm not gonna disagree with what you're saying, right? The problem I would say is this, right? And Omar, you made this point earlier, right? And I'm actually gonna kind of try to paraphrase like Andrew Schultz a little bit. So Andrew Schultz, comedian, I love like dark, offensive humor. So Andrew Schultz does this. Obviously, Dave Chappelle does this. That when we talk about cancel culture, that kind of humor is like dying a little bit or struggling a little bit because of where we are in our society. But Andrew Schultz kind of made a point yesterday in one of his last year in one of his monologues, talking about we cannot grade like morality of like 50 years ago, 20 years, I mean 50 years ago, even 10 years ago by today's morality, right? And that's kind of what we're doing with some of these historical figures. So last
Nice.
year when
Andrew Schultz said that.
yeah, Andrew Schultz. So he's a comedian, by the way. He's actually has like a Andrew Schultz Save the World on like Netflix. He's not paying me to say this, by the way. So, but maybe he should. But, but like I think it's pretty funny. I think you'll like his show, Omar and Nicholas. But, but he kind of talks about how, like, yes. So when like last year during like the protests, when a lot of these Confederate statues were coming down, people were just tearing them down and whatnot, right? People then started getting a little overzealous and started tearing down statues of like George Washington and whatnot, right? And that's kind of where we need to understand, right? George Washington, we cannot judge George Washington and his actions and everything he's done during his time by our standards. You can't even judge his standards by the time of Lincoln's standards, right? Where Lincoln fought for the fought to free the slaves, which that in itself has its own nuance. So that's kind of the thing that So that's the thing that we miss. So if there is a problem with cancel culture, it's probably people taking it too far. I think Liam Dunham.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, so I think
I absolutely agree.
Like said this like last year or a couple years ago to cancel all men, and it's like, okay. I mean,
it's stuff like that, man.
Yeah.
It's like,
and like it's even the problem, but at the same time, it's not like. And in other news, like I can't go to a bar right now, right? So it's like I don't hide as like I don't have it as such a high problem. Like, so the thing is, we haven't canceled like the Confederacy yet, right? There's still like bases named off of Confederate generals. They still have Confederate statues up. So until we get all that done,
they're working on changing some of those.
So that's where I agree with you.
So hold on real quick, Omar. You take it back to the Gina Serrano incident, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys think that she was canceled or should have been canceled? Like, in my opinion, and there's a reason why I asked that, right? So she comes out on Twitter, makes some remarks that get a lot of people heated, and loses her job, right? I don't have a problem with her losing her job because her saying those things went against what the principles of the company are, or what the company says its principles are.
Great point.
So therefore, you lose your job. Just like if I went out and did something like that and I tried to get a job,
good point.
I'm probably not going to get hired if I'm saying a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So, but then is she still going to be able to go out and get a role or a job? Yeah.
Well, she did.
Well,
so
a lot of Hollywood,
she did.
A lot of Hollywood directors are now actually like telling her, like, no, they don't even want her now. I was actually just looking at that. I think it was earlier today or yesterday or something, and like she's pretty much getting the boot from a lot of people out of Hollywood right now.
Yeah.
So in that sense, right, to really answer your question, Nicholas, on cancel culture. So I don't believe in calling it culture. Cancel culture. Cancel out what's wrong with society, but why do we have to call it culture? Like it's because that makes it seem like
when it becomes a thing, when it becomes like part of what's going on, it's culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
what I don't know. I see that's why I disagree with it. And I think that, and now actually kind of agreeing with what you're saying about Gina Carano, like I liked her. I didn't care for her at all in The Mandalorian. I didn't care for her acting or anything in that. I liked her as a UFC fighter, respected her skill and what she'd done. But this is not about silencing people for their opinions. That's what these freaking people need to understand, is that when you start speaking out against other people's rights and saying you don't believe other people are being oppressed, that are clearly being oppressed, that have been oppressed for several decades and for centuries, and you're talking about 500,000 plus people, over half a million people are dead, and you're saying you don't even believe that crap. Like, get the hell out of you. Who do you think you are to think that you're allowed to say something like that and think that everyone has to accept your opinion. Get out of here. That's not normal. It should
Preach.
not be normal.
Preach. Absolutely preach.
And
No.
yeah, and that's what I mean. I don't think it's necessarily part of like canceling people out. You know, it's calling people out for their stupidity. I think there's a
Well,
difference.
so I see it as this, right? Regardless of what you say, if you have the guts to have an opinion and say what you think, you need to be accountable for what you say. So if someone
Yep.
calls you on your BS, right? Don't
Yeah.
write about cancel culture. I mean, I've seen this with
Freedom
some
of speech,
colleagues.
not the repercussions.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I see this with a bunch of my colleagues, even that I had to like unfriend on like Facebook because they were just going too far. Where they're like, "Oh, we can't say what we want anymore," and this, and this. And let me tell you, I didn't see these guys defending Colin Kaepernick, right?
Yep. Oh, thank you.
I
The
don't see you guys-
golden example.
I don't see you guys defending Colin Kaepernick.
Yes.
I don't see you guys defending when someone's fighting
Thank
for
you.
someone's rights, like when they get
Nope.
canceled, right? That happens all the time.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. I'm gonna grab my mic and I'm gonna drop it right here. Never mind. It's too expensive. I'm not gonna do that. And it's too heavy. It'll break my table.
Just do this mic drop like that, right?
Yeah, I was gonna do it for you, but I'm not gonna break my
Yeah.
mic for you.
No, I mean, again, these people, like, look, is cancel culture a problem? Sure. Like, again, so is people liking well done steak. That's kind of how I see it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see it like. I get there are different.
I hope my oldest sister is watching this
Huh?
because she likes well done steak.
I'm sorry, ma'am. You needed that.
Yeah, I know.
No, no.
You need to,
I know.
you need to show her the light, man. You need to show her like.
Hey, look, man. I've tried. You know, her husband. You know, he's like us. You know, he'll eat medium rare, whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, I'll leave it at that.
You have to
when
understand.
did you-
She doesn't wear a red
Mhm.
hat though. Luckily, she doesn't wear a red hat. I'll put it that way.
So random side note. So when did you up your steak game?
Me?
When
Me?
when were you like, you know what, I need a medium fillet, you know, bone in.
Edo, all because of Edo, because of San Antonio, and he's commenting. By the way, he's like deep thoughts by Saheed 20 minutes ago, and then he's like, "What's happening, fellas?"
Yeah.
So he was giving us shout outs, but absolutely, man. All credit goes to the grill master Eden.
Oh,
Okay.
Nicholas, we've had this conversation.
Yeah.
I started changing. I was actually in Louisiana, right? I was still living in Louisiana at the time. I started changing my ways with steak when I was hanging out with my white colleagues, and they saw me trying to cut
I mean,
into
you
a
learn
bone
when
steak,
you learn.
and I was like doing it like this.
Yeah.
I was like, and they're just looking at me like, no, and
No.
they're like, no, and they made a suggestion. They're like, look, go with medium well, because when you say well done, that's when it's burnt, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Medium well, right?
It starts with me.
Like medium well, then go to medium, and then go to medium rare. I don't usually go to medium rare, but I like
Yeah.
medium. So medium
The
well.
guy in your thin cut third rack from the top,
Oh
Ed, we're
man.
calling you
well
out, man.
cooked.
We're
Yeah.
calling you out,
Yeah.
man. Yeah. No,
I
Ed-
used to do medium well. Eden got me into medium, and the only time I've ever tried medium rare was, well, down
Was
in
it
those
Chamaguchi?
phenomenal-
Was it Chamaguchi?
Chamaguchas, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
great.
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
Um,
Now my first medium steak I had at was my first corporate dinner. Like we had just won some proposal or something like that. And the guy's like sitting there, you know, buying everybody dinner or whatever because we did a good job. And he was basically like, if anybody orders well done, like you're paying pancreas, you know, right? Just basically putting it out there like
Nice.
you're a clown if you order well done. And I was like,
Yeah.
Let me guess.
I'll
This
get
is
you
Clyde, the
medium well.
EMSS contract at Clyde's.
so so you pretty much you get canceled.
Everyone had a Moscow Mule.
right?
I would have been
Getting well
canceled.
done.
Yeah, I would have been canceled.
You're getting canceled. for getting well done.
Nicholas will no longer work any proposals ever.
Yeah, but back to that our topic of cancel culture. Yeah, we took a hard tangent on that one. Talking about steaks.
Hey,
What
this
it's
is
all
the
about.
first time our whole episode is on one topic.
Yeah, well,
Or
this
no,
is
maybe
true.
second time.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we had the DC episode. Yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, again, I don't see it. Is it a problem? Sure. Do people take it too far? Yes. I think from my standpoint and cancel culture just in general, we have to. and this is a hard thing to do. There has to be some level of forgiveness. So if someone says something outrageous, we do have to be mature enough to try to forgive them and then be mindful of them too, because a lot of these guys will probably just say something like try to say something to forgive or whatnot, or to act as an act of contrition, and like it'll be a fake. Like they'll go on and say some other racist crap. I've seen this happen so many times, right?
Yeah.
So, but we also need to be smart enough to know, like, to forgive people, to be not just smart enough to be emotionally mature enough to forgive people and bring them on our side, because we need more people on our side, right? What's
Yeah.
happening right now is that they're using this rally cry for cancel culture. And honestly, I think cancel culture almost on the same level as All Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter. It's like it's kind of that BS saying that people are using. I will
Yeah,
give
I just want to quickly add
I'll give
on.
cancel-
I'm sorry. I want to.
I'll give cancel culture a little bit more of it is more of an issue than the other two. The other two, All Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, are fake BS like slogans to undermine Black people. But I do think cancel culture isn't as big as an issue as people say. But we do need to be mindful. We do need to be smart about it. We do need to be more forgiving and try to get more people on our side. So yeah, go ahead, Omar.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you hit on a really good point about being patient, understanding, forgiving. I'm a believer, not always a practicer. And yes, I just made up practicer, I guess. I don't think that's a real word, but whatever. I'm going to say it anyway. So about people, like, if you want to convince someone of something, don't use harsh language.
Yeah.
Right? Be soft in your words.
Yeah.
Because if you embarrass someone or you insult them, you'll make them feel like, obviously now they're going to be speaking defensively. They're going to be like, more inclined to want to fight back with you. But no, that's a good point. And I'm glad you said that, because that's actually how I try my best to approach a lot of topics as well. And sometimes when I do that, it's funny because I actually get other people, like friends of mine, that that I'll just be like, well, dude, whose side are you on?
Yeah. No,
I can tell Nicholas said something right, because I see you both like looking on the side.
No, actually, I'm looking at your boy like Omar Oak.
It's not Omar. It's AMAR. Is not Omar.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna cancel you out. You're racist.
I'm sorry.
It's Americans, man. I swear. Like,
Damn it. I'm Nigerian too. Hey,
culture. Like the man's culture. But I think there's levels. I think there's levels to the two, because there's a difference between having somebody like President Trump going out there and making these incendiary remarks and trying to get people.
No, of course, yeah.
Try to
Yeah,
riot. He should be muted, right? But then there's the other instances where people go out and they look up, Omar's Twitter from 10 years ago and see that he said something and like cancel this bastard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's where there's an issue where, like, I don't like you. So 10 years ago he said something about whatever, and now he's
the only way I would think that's okay to look up something 10 years ago is if they exhibit behavior of that now. So that's the only reason.
Right.
So if you're saying some racist crap now and you're saying it like 10 years ago, then you're probably not going to be inclined to change. By the way,
I don't know. I don't even know if I necessarily agree with that.
Your boy corrected me. Is it Umar?
No, don't listen to him.
Just tell me, what's the name?
He's like, Mer.
Mer. What is it?
I feel like Omar and his friend are laughing their asses off.
They really are. They're making a fun of me right now, actually.
There's gonna be a phone call right after this episode. You see that idiot trying to say my name.
Who the fuck is this guy mispronouncing my name?
You notice I didn't try to say
Omar. I am gonna call you after this.
Umar. That's it.
And Umar, and I'm gonna put you in a rear naked choke.
By the way, this is the same guy who a few minutes ago said you need to be eating more almonds, whatever that means.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I'm glad you guys don't either, because
get your boy. The hell is that?
I have no idea.
Oh my god.
Oh, he's talking smack. Bring your wheelchair, fam. Yeah.
Hey,
All right,
all right.
you're
I'm gonna try to be. I gotta be professional.
that's what I'm about to say, right?
Right.
So,
What's that?
when are you guys about to get canceled?
I'm about to cancel his ass.
Yeah. Hey, Omar, you can't show up to class with a cast on your arm now. Talking about it, I'm gonna ask you.
That's true, right? Like you can't show up to class with like a black eye or anything. You know, but like they don't want you as a teacher.
Hey, look, if that
I
ever
quit. I would quit
happened,
that day.
if that ever happened and someone comments on that, I'd be like, yeah, but you should see the other guy.
I'll be like,
I have
Wait.
one black guy. I guarantee you, he's got two black guys. No, I'm just kidding. That's not true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh man.
no, yeah. I think back to like what I was earlier trying to say. Yeah, looking back 10 years when someone's past is only okay if like they're saying racist crap now, right? And
I don't know. I still don't agree with that.
well, I mean, so let's say for
People
example,
change. People
well,
change.
so let's say look at
It's a long
Donald.
time.
Look at Donald Trump, right?
Yeah.
Him saying like,
Look at I can't think of what's the comedian, Kevin Hart. They were trying to
Okay.
get him.
what?
so Kevin
He
Hart.
said he made a gay, I think was it a gay joke about his son? Some time back.
He's made some homophobic
And-
comments. Yes.
Yeah. So he blows up after making those comments. And then somebody went back, like looked it up and basically like try to put it on him again for whatever reason and try to call him out and try to get him, you know, just it's stuff like that. Like obviously he never exhibited any, you know, anti-LGBTQ
Homophobic.
behavior
Like
before.
I mean, so I
Can I-
wouldn't
can
say I wouldn't say he hasn't exhibited any, but however, I would say I don't think it's worth canceling him for. Like they've again.
Yeah.
So he
No,
got
it's not.
he was supposed to host the Oscars and they got him for that.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
I'm sure, and I'm
wow.
sure they've had worse Oscar hosts actually. And Oscars really, you guys have problems of your own.
Pretty much. They about to get canceled.
Yeah, like you guys have a huge representation problem. So, but that's, yeah,
But that's what we're dealing with now though. Like,
Yeah,
you
but-
know, you get a high profile job and somebody goes up and
Yeah.
says, hey,
but I
guess
don't
what,
want to,
Saheed used to do this.
yeah, but I don't want to like give people like the excuse to be racist because it seems like people also use cancel culture to justify racist thoughts and they need to be called out on that, right? So again, we mentioned Donald Trump finally being banned from social media, right? And like some of the more conservative colleagues are like, oh, if you're not woke enough for this and this and that, then you get banned, and they disagree with Trump being banned. Do you know who also is banned from social media? Louis Farrakhan.
Yeah. They don't say
Yeah.
anything about that at all.
And they don't defend
At
that.
all.
And I'm not defending Louis Farrakhan at all, but I'm pro banning both him and Donald Trump from social media.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. I was keeping my mouth shut. I was about to say
Yeah.
something. I'm
Yeah.
glad you said that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with banning them both, right? So
Yep.
if they need to be held accountable for what they're saying, right? And like Louis Farrakhan is
Especially as Muslims, Saheed and I both.
Yeah.
I just want to put that in perspective.
yeah. I
So,
mean, yeah, I've had problems with people thinking I was Nation of Islam. so there's
Bow
that.
ties with your gray suit and the fading glasses will do it, right?
This is true.
I don't know, man. His attire is a little different. He goes to the swimwear shop for his suits because you know it's beach friendly suits. His pants go up to his knees, so the water never it touches his pants.
There we go. There it is. There it is.
He has like swimwear suits.
Hey,
The
but you know
second-
what, man?
The second
Guess
my
what?
attire came into play, I knew that was coming. I knew that joke.
I wanted to say it earlier, but you didn't give me the opportunity to talk. You're like, hold
Damn
on,
it.
let me finish. I was like, damn it.
Damn it.
I'll give Saheed credit though. He's ahead of his time because guess what? LeBron James, them boys out there wearing their pants just like that, just like it, even higher. You know
Much
what I mean?
higher. Much higher.
So You know, I'm not doing it, but I see a lot of them cats out there doing that. So I give you credit, man.
You'll do it one day. Watch, you will watch Nicholas come up with them high waters one day.
Nah.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Only way you'll see that much of my leg is if it's summertime.
I mean, you'll still see that on Saheed, except he'll still be wearing the slacks.
Whatever. Cancel Omar. Cancel. Cancel your ass.
If anyone wants to know where so he dresses really well. If anyone ever wants to know where he buys his clothes, just check out Babies R Us.
I saw that one coming.
They have size 65T.
I like they're hating on my medium wear.
That's what it is.
Medium wear.
It's medium wear. SW.
This is right out the dryer wear. Like just got this out the dryer where it's nice and like warm and snug.
Clothes are so tight you don't even have to iron the wrinkles out.
Damn. Oh my god, you guys. Fuck you guys.
Hey, that was a good one.
Oh,
All
God,
the
that was
years
really
we've
good.
been getting on him, haven't heard that
That
one.
was really good. And this is live on the internet, so that's gonna last forever. Thank you for that, Nicholas.
Oh man.
Thank you for that, Nicholas. My kids.
I wish
if ever
Eden
have
and
them-
Mo were here for that.
Yeah, I wish my kids, if ever have them, will be listening to
Oh
this
my God.
50 years from now. It's like, were you wearing your clothes that tight? Like, did you not have to? Did you not have to iron your clothes?
Oh,
Yeah. So what was your
Oh
topic
my
again?
God.
Was it cancel culture?
I think
yeah.
so. I think so.
Yeah.
Something about canceling your wardrobe. Yeah.
Hey, but he always got the compliments in the office, though.
Whole team did.
Yeah, I got
No,
I got compliments. You know, y'all haters gonna hate. It's all good. You know, I don't mind my clothes. I haven't gotten to wear any nice clothes for like almost a year now because
that's true. That's
working
true.
from home. So
My suit's been my suit's been PJs and robes for the past year.
yeah, I also work in like a tech company too. So like if I wear a suit or a tie, people get like all weirded out and stuff.
Oh, that's funny.
So
Oh yeah.
yeah, I gotta wear the jeans, and you know when we go back to the office like later this year, gotta wear like the jeans and t-shirts and the hoodies. and
Basically, the
Oh,
dressed
my.
like a billionaire attire.
Mhm.
Yeah, just like a wannabe billionaire. But
Yeah,
yeah,
there you
no. What are some of the things I want to talk about cancel culture? Yeah, I don't want it to turn into like people not being able to say what they want. Like, do people take it too far? Absolutely. I mean, in my mind, like they're bigger fish to fry, right? Like I'd rather cancel all the Confederate statues. I'd rather cancel the names of freaking like military bases. I want to talk about a little bit about so Omar, we talked about people who complain about cancel culture, happy that like Trump is like off of Twitter and social media and whatnot. I do want to talk about one thing, and I want to talk about like the Fort Hood shooting. We talked about this pre-show. We talked about this, Omar. Eat some almonds. Come on, why are you acting like you don't remember? No.
Oh, that's why he said that. In case he's still watching, I just need
Let him
to itch
still
my eye.
Yeah. So I do want to talk about that for a second. So, and for those who like complain about cancel culture and not being able to say what you want and this and this and so heinous shootings that's happened in like Fort Hood, right? Like in 2014. And what they found out, there's a guy named that the Fort Hood like shooter was inspired by someone named Anwar al-Awlaki. And so he was inspired. He inspired like that shooting. Right now, the guy himself isn't like didn't kill anyone himself, right? But he did inspire shootings, just like Trump inspired like the January 6th insurrection, right? Do you know what like President Obama did, right? When they found out that he inspired the shootings, not actually done the shooting himself, but inspired those shootings, right? They sent a drone to kill him. Now, mind you, this guy's an American citizen, and
He was in Yemen when it happened.
he was in Yemen when it happened, but he's an American citizen. So civil rights group says that he was due process, right? But they put him on the kill list, asked him,
Right.
like, he got canceled from life. Now, I'm in no way condoning this guy at all. He got canceled from life, right? I'm no way condoning what this guy represents, what he does or whatnot. Point I'm trying to make right here is that these are people that are canceled. Like, that's true cancel culture in my idea, right? That's you say something and you're done, right? You don't live anymore, right? Versus someone's like Gina Carano saying something racist and her not being able to find a job anymore, as like you should, because you have a history of saying these BS racist conspiracy theorist type things, right? No one wants to put you on like their movie.
But what was it that he said that inspired the Fort Hood shooter?
So apparently he was exchanging emails with the Fort Hood shooter, right? I don't know the full details.
Directly.
Yeah, so there were email exchanges between them, and there was another shooting as well, in Florida, that this guy inspired apparently. So I mean, again, the world's better off without a minute, right?
So hold on. So who got killed? The Fort Hood shooter or the person who was?
Oh no! So there's a shooting on a military base,
both.
right? So the shooter's name is Nadal Hassan, right? He worked in the military. He was a psychiatrist, right?
I think he was a civilian, right? Or was he actually military?
I think he was actually military. Yes, he's a military psychiatrist, right? So he was radicalized by this guy, Anwar al-Awlaki, right? And I think Nadine Hussein, right? But Anwar al-Awlaki is sent a drone to kill him, right? So again, that's true cancel culture. And like, look, you're responsible.
But I don't think so. I think it's a reach to loop that into what we're talking about with cancel.
Yeah, I don't think that's cancel culture. I think that's different. So that's what I'm saying is this whole phrasing of cancel culture. I don't think it's a culture per se. And you know, okay, canceling some people out prematurely, I can understand, but it's really being over exaggerated in my opinion, and not really about what you're saying specifically, Saheed, but in general, I just think that when we give it a set name or like a set phrase, it just makes it seem like a bigger issue than it is. Not to say it's not a big issue, because it is, but I'm just saying that when something needs to be called out, call it out. Like if it's wrong, it's wrong. But there's just this new trend that everyone's saying, cancel culture.
Well, I mean, the point I was saying is this, right? The people that were talking about freedom of speech, so the civil rights groups is actually what kind of called out his killing, right? The people that are whining about cancel culture don't use him as an excuse. They don't use him as an example, right? Again, the Donald Trump insurrection, January 6th insurrection, right? A cop was killed. People were killed, right? Because this guy lost the election and couldn't admit it, right? And they will defend Trump, but of course you're not going to defend this guy, right? And to me, I'm not saying this is one-to-one, right? I'm not trying to falsely equate the two. By no means am I trying to.
No, but that's a good point, though.
But there are similarities, right?
Right.
And that's what frustrates me about some of the people that are whining about cancel culture, right? Where, oh, we can't say what we want anymore. I mean, it means you just have a hard time being racist, right? You
exactly.
People off your racism.
Exactly.
People are more involved.
They're not worried about
racist now and racism, and you can't handle it. So
they're not worried about cancel culture. They just want their racist, bigoted views to be endorsed. That's all that it is.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Nick, I don't know if you had anything else to say.
I did, but I had an Omar moment. I just forgot.
That's what we're calling this now.
Eat more almonds. My name is Amar Oak. I hope you are watching this, Amar Oak.
I'm happy you can make that joke because we're sure so they're making that joke.
I wouldn't embarrass myself.
We are both South Asian. Yeah, we are both South Asian. He's a good friend of mine. Even though I'm from Pakistan, he's from India. We're still somehow good friends by some I don't know how, but we are.
Is that a legal thing? Is that what it is? How you guys
I think so. Yeah, I think it. I think if I went back to my family's home country, they'd behead me for saying that, and for him, they'd probably I
They'd
don't know.
cancel you?
Yeah, they'd cancel us
Oh
both.
my God.
No, he's a good guy. He's just gonna get his ass beat pretty soon. That's all. I mean, he's a good guy and he's my good friend.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys
One thing I do want to.
Go ahead, Nicholas.
One thing I did want to call out real quick. I feel like we're about to wrap up soon.
Yeah.
Is the attacks on the Asian community.
Yes, let's talk about that.
It's absolutely
Oh
ridiculous.
yes. Yeah.
And it's actually, it just upsets me a lot. And then one thing I saw was actually I saw an article, right, where it was saying that the Black community should reach out to the Asian community because of these acts. And it's like, what exactly would the Black community, how would that benefit the Asian community, right?
Yeah.
There's not a lot that we can do because we're also under the gun just as much as they are. It's like,
Reach out to them for
white people. We need white people. We need your help, right? We need you to help stop these attacks and this culture of hating on people of different ethnic descent. So
yeah, no,
I just want to put that out there, and I hope it stops. It's ridiculous.
I'm totally happy you're saying this, Nicholas. So yeah, the attacks on like the Asian community is ridiculous. It frustrates me because we had a year of people refusing to wear a mask, refusing to socially distance because it impinges on their freedoms, and you blame this disease on the Asian community and not yourselves for not doing what you need to do to help curb this this virus. And like we see it in so I just actually read an article a couple of days. I mean, actually I read it today where like 25 states have now had upticks with coronavirus, right? Upticks in coronavirus right now. And it's just frustrating, right? Like,
yeah, you have places like Texas being like, "Hey, we're open now." Like,
yeah, exactly. I was like,
of course,
yeah,
you have an uptick, dummy.
You don't got to wear a mask anymore. You got places in Florida.
Well, did you know
Florida governor?
The power of the mind that if you believe it does not exist, it actually will not harm you. It's the power of the mind.
That's amazing. So deep.
It is. Also, only applies within the states of within the state borders of Texas.
I just canceled COVID-19 right now.
Oh, there you go. So I want to point out, I shared something on my Facebook earlier today. So today is posted roughly around noon today, which is 18 March 2021. Just saying, and I'm going to read this word for word verbatim. And this is an event that happened against a Korean American girl here local to Northern Virginia. It actually happened in Woodbridge.
I saw.
So her brother, yeah. So I don't know who this person is personally. I have two mutual friends with her actually. But so her brother shared this on Facebook, and it's actually pretty scary because let me read it first. An incident occurred this morning near my parents' home where some coward in a burgundy SUV threw a cup of hot coffee on her and drove off. This isn't the first time this sort of act has happened near my parents' home, as I was also attacked with rocks being thrown at my car when I was driving home from school after the Virginia Tech shooting. If racism isn't the contributing factor, I don't want to hear it. The fact that it has happened to my baby sister, try anyone else, I'm the wrong person. Mm-hmm. Now, he went on to, he shared 3 pictures of this young girl, maybe in like her, mid-20s or something like that. Or, she's visibly very distressed, looks like she's like crying or something. She's got a towel pressed against, the side of her face. Mm-hmm. And it's just really disheartening to see that. I know that because my wife, who's Canadian, we talk about Canadians, like they're always like really polite and really nice and everything. She actually used to wear a headscarf many years ago. And, she, a long time ago, someone came and like threw like I forgot, she said like a gallon of milk or something at her, just out of like pure racism, as they're driving off like in their car. So this is, it's scary, that stuff like this happens even in areas as developed as Northern Virginia. You're talking about Woodbridge, Virginia, Woodbridge, Hoodbridge, for something like that to happen. In general, when you're talking about, Prince William County in general, you're talking about pretty much it's all minorities.
Mm-hmm.
And, like my family lives out in Prince William County, and it's almost entirely minorities. So the fact that this is even happening out there, like, it's scary. Like, where are we safe?
Yeah.
We as in minorities. I shared that on my Facebook, and one of my friends today, he commented, he was like, this reminds me of what happened. I'm paraphrasing a little bit. This reminds me of what happened to us right after 9/11. And I was like, you're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But if you're white and you do it, there's reasons.
Yeah.
You're disturbed, mental health. There's all the freaking reasons in the world. But if you're a minority, then it's due to your faith, your skin color, your socioeconomic class, whatever
home,
family, exactly.
Broken home.
You're wearing a hoodie. You are a threat for just looking like a threat, whatever.
Yeah. It's you that needs to change
like
than
me
anyone
right
else, right? So,
being outside looking like me right now.
Imagine me walking around in a hoodie like, hey, dude, what's up? They wouldn't bat an eye because they're not threatened by South Asians, right?
Yeah.
But that's the truth. And same thing if I was white, right?
Yeah.
I try to get a little comical with it. It was an epic fail, but I'm just saying, right?
I mean, I was gonna respond with like, imagine if myself or Nicholas walked around.
Well, my brother-in-law, who's also black, right? Like, I've never heard him raise his voice, and he's a big guy. He's very fit, and if you look at him, right, you would think like he's, you wouldn't want to talk trash to him, right? But he's the kindest guy, soft-spoken I've ever met. You guys know him, Randall.
Good dude.
But yeah, and he's a great guy. But it's these stereotypes that it's just, unless you're white, you're gonna get like I guess, well, we can attribute it to canceled in a way.
Yeah. No, I actually posted something.
If your brother-in-law doesn't subscribe to this podcast, he's gonna get canceled.
Cancel. Yes. Yeah, no, actually, so Omar, it reminds me of like what I posted on like our podcast page today. So if the shooter turns out to be Hispanic, build a wall. Arab.
Yes, I like that.
Right. Black Lives Matter, a terrorist. White, well, we need to ask ourselves how we as a society are failing those poor troubled young men. Right?
Yeah.
Take care of our own. That's what it is. Take care of our own. That's what it is.
The opioid epidemic.
Oh God.
That's about, right?
Oh God.
Oh my God, it's sweeping the nation. Guess what? It's been in the hood forever.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. That's a different topic. I mean, we're close to the end, but there's so much we can talk about with that, particularly like what some of like Richard Nixon's like advisors actually said to try to imprison like Black Americans and try to fill their neighborhoods with just drugs. Like it's crazy.
Sure, man.
Yeah. So I can go on for days for that.